age. Democracy means recognition of the rights of others. Democracy means the equality of all in the eyes of the law. Democracy means equality of opportunity for all in education, in the public service, and in private employment. Democracy means freedom of worship for all and the subordination of the rights of any one race to the overriding right of the human race. Our national flag belongs to all our citizens. Our national coat of arms with our national birds inscribed therein is the sacred trust of all our citizens. So it is today. Please, I urge you, let it always be so. Let us always be able to say with the psalmist, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. As the citizens of an independent country, we must preserve the qualities we have developed in the testing period before independence. We must work even harder than in the past. The watchwords I have chosen for the nation are discipline, production, tolerance. I appeal to you to let them ever be your guide to conduct. If we do this, we will build a nation which can hold its head high and be accepted anywhere in the world, and which any other nation will be glad to welcome as a friend. As we march forward to our great day, let us do so as a united people, bridging all the differences of class, race, color, and creed. Let us make a living reality of our new motto. Together we aspire. Together we achieve.
Good morning, Mayaro, and welcome to Seine Talk. Yes, it's Saturday, the 29th of October, 2022. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Yes, listeners, wow, we were under that adverse weather situation for the entire week. Last Saturday morning, we started off with bright sunshine, and by afternoon it turned and it stayed that way until this morning. This morning, here in the city of Miaru, bright, hot sun, and oh my, is that welcome. Because all our rivers within the region were close to capacity, while some areas would have been impacted by the weather severely. Let's continue to keep our fingers crossed as the Mafeking River that Ottawa River have been able to take that water flow, and oh my, were we lucky with the tides thus far. And we know in Trinidad and Tobago, the two wettest months of the year is June and November. So while October would have been abnormal, historically, November is one of the wetter months of the year in TNT. So let's continue to pray and ask God for his continued blessings within our region, our immediate space here in Mayaro, that the impact is not as bad as we are seeing in other parts of our Twin Island Republic. Tobago seriously hit. Diego Martin in the west. Wow, we saw those roadways with the flow of water, and we know Port of Spain is still impacted as the rain sets up. So, yes, today here on Seine Talk, and as you know, our plan on this program is to inform, educate, and try to entertain. So this morning, one of the things that would have been coming in for the past couple weeks was in fact the situation with water in Guayagari and WASA's contribution. And so in fact, one thing we do on Seine Talk is that we go to the head of the fountain and we try to get those who are responsible in terms of letting us know exactly what's happening. Because listeners, I mean, water is a basic necessity, and at least thank God for the heavens. Otherwise, oh my gosh, this situation would have even been worse. So this weekend is the final weekend of Calypso History Month. So, one of the things or the questions you'd ask, well, why Calypso supposed to be 24/7, 365 and a quarter, right? So, I just wanted to know why. So we're going to kick off with the Baron and come straight back one time with our first interview this morning because of the burning issues that are impacting the residents of our region. And we're going to go and see if we can get some responses and some answers as to what's happening. Because there are efforts, there is outcry, and we know there comes a time when a different course of action may be required. But let's see what's happening. And so we're going to take in something from the Baron as we continue to celebrate Calypso History Month here on Miaro Radio on Seine Talk. And then we'll try to come back with our first interview one time. So take it away, DJ.
Oh, yeah. Tell me what. Tell me what. Hey! Give me! You was lively and you was hot. I tell myself this is it. We go party down the place. Now you keep moving back and you have it in your waist. Tell me why you don't have the feeling and that is so nice. I wonder what's on your mind. Don't tell me you're going to ruin my night. Tell me why you don't have the feeling and that is so nice. I wonder what's on your mind. Don't tell me you're going to ruin my night. Maybe you want something to shake you ding-a-ling. Hey, maybe you want a laugh to run your bambala. Maybe you want a man to get back out of hand. Maybe you want a man to fire up behind. Till the day, hey, give me music stuff. You can say to me that we don't have the energy. We were staring on the place, drink for drink and drink for waste. But now you have me in shock. You go run out of love. Oh yeah, oh yeah, hey, oh yeah, oh yeah. Tell me why you don't have the feeling and party so nice. I wonder what's on your mind. Don't tell me you're going to ruin my night. Tell me why you don't have the feeling and party so nice. I wonder I said, baby, tell me why you don't have the feeling and party so nice. I wonder what's on your mind. Don't tell me you're going to moonlight night. Tell me why you don't have the feeling and party so nice. I wonder what's on your mind. Don't tell me you're going to moonlight night. Maybe you want something to shake you ding-a-ling. Maybe you want someone to roll your bumper.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yes, morning.
Morning, hi. Listeners, we have on the line with us the Member of Parliament for the constituency of Miaro in the person of Mr. Rushton Prairie. Good morning, MP, and how are you?
Hi, good morning, Wendell. Good morning, good morning. I am doing fair fine. I see we have lovely weather this morning, so I'm very excited for a very dry and gentle breeze blowing day today.
Yes, great. First and foremost, on behalf of Miaro Radio and all of us within this electoral district of Miaro, Guarigari, we want to extend condolences to you, first and foremost, on the passing of your aunt. So condolences to you, sir, and this time from us here at Miaro Radio.
Thank you very much, Ramsey. I appreciate it.
Great. Well, MP, sorry to just start off one time in the hot seat here, but I mean, as a representative, sometimes we are called upon. I just say like to even make magic, but there is a recurrent situation. It has reached that you don't even know where to turn. And this morning, I don't envy where you sit, because sometimes I could deflect some of the things, and sometimes I try from my end so much, but we continue to sometimes get responses, and those responses don't materialize. So first and foremost this morning, MP, based on in particular persons in the Guarigari area, that situation of water, right? Because I would have reached out to you personally when I would have not gotten responses or replies in terms of what's happening overall, and I even reached out to you and you expressed certain things as it relates to the same situation of persons and residents in the community coming to you and informing you of the situation of water in Guarigari. Could you give us and our listeners some responses as it relates to that situation?
Okay, sure. So let's talk about water in the overall constituency. Last year, during the mid-year review, the Minister of Public Utilities, Mr. Marvin Gonzalez, made some commitments to execute 3 infrastructural projects that, pending funding in this year's financial allocations, he will start the process of bringing long-term fixes from an engineering perspective to resolve the water situation throughout the constituency. Right? So there were 2 projects, one for Miaro, one for Rio Claro, and we were to complete the one for Guarigari. So we'll focus on the one for Guarigari. The Guarigari project, as far as I understand, was supposed to be completed by the end of September. That his commitment back then in the media review in 2021 was that Guarigari and surrounding communities would have been able to get access to 24/7 water, inclusive of the industrial estate. How we were going to do that? They were going to bring the Petrotrin feed, that facility that's in Petrotrin. That would have brought something like 2 million gallons of water onto our trunk lines in Guarigari. So from Guarigari to Stonebright, that water service would have solved that problem. Now, what I understand, they had some delays, they had some kickback, and they are a bit behind schedule. So it means that Guarigari is still receiving water on some days from Navet, which is absolutely ridiculous. And as you know, Wendell, the minute you get one leak somewhere, you lose the pressure. The minute Wasa has to dig the line to fix it, you lose your cycle. So that is what's happening for the Guaya-Guayari area, and we still remain hopeful that that project can be completed, hopefully before the year is over. Now, what have I done? I have spoken to the CEO of WASA, and I have insisted to him that, sir, I would like you and your technical team to come to Mayaro and let's have a town hall meeting where you can explain the situation and talk about the strategies that you are putting in place. And because I am acting as a middleman and we are bearing, my counselors and I, we are bearing the brunt of the abuse at the end of the day. And you are the people responsible, and you ought to come to the people and explain. So I have gotten the commitment from him that this month, I gave him 2 Mondays, I think the second and the third Monday of this month, either one, that we are going to have a town hall meeting at the Mayaro Civic Center. And while we have to, manage the COVID-19 protocols, it is my intention to invite the heads of NGOs, of the village councils, of the business community, and so at least have about 50 or 60 people in a COVID-19 restricted system. But at least the heads of organizations would be there to question the CEO of WASA and his team, so we can get some understanding of why we are where we are and what we can look forward to going forward. So that is basically in a nutshell what I have in terms of information for the WASA issues going forward. But we continue to fight with them. We continue to make representations. One thing I can tell you, they are putting something in place. As far as I spoke to the CEO last week, they are putting a system of 3 or 4 local water trucking contractors. They're working on the contracts right now. So when constituents in the Mayaro constituency calls for water trucking service, they may not have to make a request to St. Joseph. They will be able to get access to a water trucking vendor right here in Mayaro, Rio Claro. So within 1 day time, they can get service rather than 7 and 8 and 10 days, which normally happens when you try to call the St. Joseph number. So that's a short-term fix that they are trying to deal with, and I was given some assurance that they are about a week or 2 away from completing that contract. So that's something we can look forward to, Wendell.
Great. That's some great information here to our listeners, because what would have happened is that I think there's more than a month, even the 3 schools there in Guayagari were impacted by no water, no pipe-borne supply, and of course that same trucking supply that you said takes days to come. But another part of that is that some of the residents within that community may not have that WASA bill in their name or have a fixed connection to their home, but that when they call WASA, that part of give me your account number, they may not meet those requirements. So those persons are also impacted, right?
So all those things, Wendell, we had addressed when I brought up the idea to the CEO a few months ago about making it very easier, and that, you see, we can't keep dependent. The regional corporation resources are already stretched. You only have about 2 or 3 trucks, and when you have to via money from other areas for more water trucking, it is unfair to you and unfair to the Burgesses. And I suggested that, WASA work with the regional corporation where, just as how persons call the MP or call the councillor, you can request through a single point of contact, even at the corporation, that you can execute the MRCRC service for non-WASA customers, or you can execute the WASA contractor trucks for WASA customers from our local region rather than from St. Joseph, and hopefully we can get a faster system, because we can't starve the horse while the grass growing, Wendell.
Great, MP. MP, I want to move on to the next topic. This is the most, I'm saying, taboo subject, because, oh my God, that's an understatement. The situation of the roads within our region, but in particular, Mayaro to Guayari. MP.
I had to laugh because it's months now, months. I mean, and I have been getting abuse for the roads. I mean, I cross the road by my business place, and I'm at the verbal end from the taxi drivers, from people walking. And I mean, while I bear no bone about it, it's clearly, people don't understand the way our governance systems work. As an opposition MP, I can't give instructions. I cannot instruct the Minister of Work. I mean, I can't even instruct the boys in Rio Claro. What I can do, I can ask. And I mean, the Constitution has given me a few tools. I can make bacchanal in Parliament. I could ask questions. I could demand the Minister answer. I can go on radio. There are legal routes that I can use to push. However, after months of pushing, you would realize this week we got some basic patching done from Indian Bay. I know they were heading to Guayagüe. I'm not sure how far they reached. They assured me that they would have given us 4 days of patching, especially that area by the breeding unit, by the saltwater line, by Wayne's Poultry, down by Royal Bank. But I had to leave because of the death in my family, so I wasn't sure. On the first day, I stood with the Ministry of Works people and I drove the road with them to make sure that they weren't missing any of the more dangerous potholes. But I'm not sure if you were able to see how far they reached in your drive along the main road over the last 2 days, Wendell.
No, I have not. I have been out of the community as it relates to that. But I mean,
Okay.
I was thankful for the information in relation to same. And we would be checking out, because I have also asked persons to give me a report on how it have been looking thus far.
Yeah.
Right.
I can also tell you there's a pending issue with that bridge in Vespri, right? I know that came before council and there were some issues and so on. But I also queried that agricultural access bridge in Vespri, and that has been on the Ministry of Works program since 2016. So I have filed a question on the order paper in the Parliament for the Minister to explain why this since 2016 has been on the program of works, and up to today there has been no action on it. So hopefully we can get some response and some resolution on that. Now, in terms of major infrastructure work for roads, Wendell, there is nothing on the horizon in the 2022-2023 fiscal package. There was no work carded for the Mayaro-Guayagüe Road in terms of complete restoration or rehabilitation. Now, we have some good news, and it is all based on how this new national secondary road infrastructure company is executed. As you'd be aware, that's a new company that the government has executed. They have capitalized it around $200 million. And I spoke to the Minister of Local Government, Mr. Faris Awari, and I told him that the Mayaro Local Regional Corporation, the MP's office, will be sending him directly a list of secondary roads in order of priority that we would like work on. And he gave me the assurance that they are going to have a massive execution of secondary road projects over the next 12 months, and I hope that Mayaro benefit, because we have so many secondary roads that does not fall under the Ministry of Works, but under the regional corporation. But sometimes the funding that you guys get, it is not enough. So secondary roads will be dealing with roads, they'll be dealing with some landslips, and they'll be dealing with some bridges as well. So I guess when instructions come through the corporation for you guys, you will get to follow up on some issues, and then the MP's office, we will follow up on some issues. So we're going to be driving the secondary roads, we're going to be bothering them, we're going to be writing letters to the editor, we're going to be going on the radio, we're going to highlight, get TV6 and CNC3 to come and see some of our roads, and we're going to push them to get work done in Mayaro, if not by the end of this year to start, but definitely work getting started in the new year. So it's going to be a little hectic, Wendell, but we have to make a decision as representatives of the people how far legally we are willing to go without breaking the law.
Yes. MP, there's another topic also too, but that's good to hear about some of the things to come as it relates to roads within the region here. But that issue of schools transportation, every time you think that there is a pulse on it or that you have some level of control or regularity, there's always some shake-up, especially with drivers trying to do 3 and 4 trips and then want to pick up students probably too early for primary school or or too late for secondary school. From your office, because some of the complaints that are coming to me, is there anything reaching to your office as it relates to school transportation within our community?
I can tell you that nothing misses our office. Right? We're prone to every single complaint in the constituency. So let me tell you the latest on the school transport issue. So we have been making queries on this since before the school term started. And I spoke to PTSC. The PTSC is the agent that is executing the contracts for the drivers, whereas the Ministry of Education is paying the bills. PTSC is responsible for contracting the drivers. But here what is the big problem? The drivers, very few of them are interested in taking up the job because they say the money is a bit too small. Based on the current increase in diesel prices, the conditions of the roads, you know, the funding that they are giving them for the big maxis and the small maxis, they are hesitant to take it. And besides the money being a little small, they are complaining about the length of time it takes for the government to pay them the money as well. So when they have to maintain their buses and so on, it's a problem. So that's a challenge that has reduced the pot of drivers who are willing to get on the school service. So that's the first thing. The second thing is PTSC had sent a request to the principals of all schools. The principals, please work on a listing of the areas and the number of students that need transport, because obviously we can't transport every child. If there is one person from one corner of the constituency, we can't send a bus for that one child. But if you have 10, 12 children who can, you know, circulate in a certain area, we will decide how we're going to use the resources, which is a fair assessment at the end of the day. I think that many of the school principals may not have completed that exercise as yet, or it's an ongoing process. So I spoke to the Minister of Education just this week, probably I think on Tuesday, and I told the Minister that I did have several complaints from schools, not from schools, but from parents, PTAs, about the lack of transport in some key areas. So what she has asked my office to do is to make an intervention. And I know on Thursday or Friday of this week, my office reached out to most, if not all, school principals. And we are going to do an exercise next week to do exactly what the ministers asked. Do an assessment of the schools, the amount of students that require transport, where there are gaps, and I will present it directly to her for her intervention to see if we can sort out some transport issues before the term is up and have something more solid and permanent in January. So we're making some headway on that, but you would know, Wendell, you know, in our system here, in our public service, things takes time, it takes too long, but we have to start somewhere. And I think we are at a good place in terms of that the minister has given me as MP the commitment that when I present her this report in terms of our requirements coming out of the school principal's information, she will address it the best that she can. So we look forward to seeing what happens.
Great. That's some great information, because that's one of the daily calls that I get from parents. So MP, as we have you on the line here and our listeners are tuned in, is there any information that you would like to share with our listening audience and the persons of the constituency of Miaro?
Well, I mean, in closing, Wendell, I mean, I want to give the commitment that, you know, I continue to, you know, be grateful for the support that I get as MP in the entire constituency. I feel privileged to represent our people of Miaro in the parliament to bring their issues. I know Miaro has suffered this week in terms of some deaths and some losses that we've had. I mean, I know Chairman Cozy has lost his stepmother. We had the issue with Valine, a very wonderful young lady, you know, in this tragic incident that happened at her home. All I can, you know, is tell the families and friends, you know, there's a process in place. From all indications, from what I read, I think she's going to be all right. I mean, I don't want to supersede what the police is going to do at the end of the day. But, you know, it's really tragic. I mean, when these things happen in small communities, I'll ask people to continue praying for everybody's health and wealth and safety. And let's see what happens. We have a Christmas season coming. I do hope as the government executes its infrastructure program that we see some money being spent in the constituency. We need people to work. We need things to circle in the constituency, in the communities. And we trust that we'll have a very safe period coming. We're into the Christmas season now. We will hear some parang. We will see some movement of people. COVID is still with us as well. We need to continue exercising as much restraint and control. I think the ERHA is issuing the influenza flu vaccines from Monday. I want to encourage everyone who can take the flu vaccine, go and take it. I was down with the flu for a week last week, and I can tell you it was not COVID, but it was terrible. The headaches, the body pains, and so on. So the flu vaccines are available. Please make your way to the health centers and try and get vaccinated. And I wish everybody well, and Wendell, until we chat again, I'll try and continue getting more information for the benefit of the public when we speak on Radio Mayaro.
Yes. Thank you so very much, MP. And really thank you, because there is a great open door policy that when I reach out to you, I always get a response. So that is great. So thank you so very much for taking the time out to be with us here on Mayaro Radio this morning.
My pleasure, Wendell. Thank you. Take care.
Great. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was the MP for the constituency of Mayaro, Mr. Rushton Parry. And of course, we know that burning issue of water. And one of the great things coming out of that is that the persons who are responsible would be coming for a town meeting later on this week. I will try my best to influence the MP if we can card that meeting at Guayagari and not at the Mayaro Civic Center, because the people and persons that are most impacted at this point in time are our residents in Guayagari. And I would probably ask if we can put that meeting probably at the Guayagari Secondary School or the Guayagari Primary School in relation to same, or even at the Guayagari Community Center there in Ferrier Circular, because those are the people that are, every day I have the village councils calling as it relates to water and residents and the cry of residents, and I make my calls and I give responses only to find out that later on those responses were not met. So it's great that we're getting to the bottom of that and for the information shared by the MP as it relates to such. So we must say thanks very much to the MP taking time out to be with us here this morning on Mayaro Radio on Seine Talk. That's wonderful. So one of the things is that here's what's happening. We are citizens of this beautiful Twin Island Republic, because despite all the challenges, we are, as Rudder is going to explain, Trinis to the bone. Good morning, Tobago and Tobago Carnival! So we're going to take it away with King David Rudder.
Islands in the sun, islands in the fun. Welcome one and all to the land of death. Trini to the bone, Trini to the bone. When they come to Bacchanal, well, they can't beat me at Trini to the bone, Trini to the bone. Sweet woman parade abundantly. The brethren, they full of energy. Some people say God is a Trini. Paradise are not convincingly. God gave us a spirit fiery. We're nothing in the world about that we. But look at smart man gone with big money. We still come out and smash up the body. Sweet, sweet TNT. Oh, how I love of this country. Sweet, sweet TNT. No place in this world I'd rather be. Sweet, sweet TNT. Oh, how I love of my country. Sweet, sweet TNT. All this sugar can be good for me. Oh, from Coco to Caroni. Oh, Marabal to San Souci. Oh, from Scarborough to Kokori. Oh, abroad in the call, longing to be home. Trini to the bone, Trini to the bone. Lord, I pray that some sweet day I will no longer have to roam. Trini to the bone, Trini to the bone. The problems we have are plain to see. We prove we could stand the scrutiny. All I know that true democracy. How we vote is not how we party. There's no place like home, some people say. Though some have to leave to make your way. But in your hands I know their destiny. So come on and big up the country. Sweet, sweet TNT. Lord, how I love this country. Sweet, sweet TNT. No place in this world I'd rather be. Sweet, sweet TNT. Lord, how I love my country. Sweet, sweet TNT. All this sugar can't be good for me. Oh, from Cuba to Signal Hill. Oh, Arima to Charlottesville. Oh, Matla down to Port of Spain. Oh, yeah. We playing my sonoring. Sweet, sweet TNT. Oh, all I love of the country. Sweet, sweet TNT. No place in this world I'd rather be.
So glad I just leave me home, fly down to Trinidad for some love this thing they call soca, soca. Oh, nothing in the world could make me feel better. Oh, the woman carrying on as if she going out she mine. Mister, when I come here I just want it all the time. I am addicted to soca. Yes, I'm addicted to soca. With soca blood in the vein, give me again and again. Cause I'm addicted to sweet soca. All I want is sweet soca. Give me plenty sweet soca. All that's on my mind, soca. Give me anytime, soca. Something I can do without. Oi, 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 is sweet soca at working boat. Macintosh, explain a row. Tambu Johnny King, Pali Paron and Shadow. I really love the way they just put it over. Oh, when they start to jam and his misbehavior. Oh, I can't control myself no matter how I try. I don't need no coke, no ganja to make me high. Why? I am addicted to soca. Yes, I'm addicted to soca. With soca blood in the vein, with me again and again. Cause I'm addicted to sweet soca. All I want is sweet soca. Give me plenty sweet soca. All that's on my mind, soca. Give me anytime, soca. Something I can do without. Oi, 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 it's sweet soca at working boat. It's all that I want right now. Makes me feel so good, darling. After your sweet soca puts me in a happy mood. Oh, yeah, I like it more than food. Sweet soca is all that I want right now. Makes me feel so good, darling. After your sweet soca puts me in a happy mood. I like
the soca talking about from our brother Kenny J. And you know, from next month, which is in just a couple of days, we on Seine Talk will be going to music of the season. And of course, you know, Kenny J must feature, because I don't think they found the cork and that brush that the brother needs to, you know, continue the painting. So rest in peace, Kenny J. We here in Seine Talk will sort out and try to see if we could find that brush wherever that brush is, because we know the season is coming up. So at this time, we here on Seine Talk and on Miaro Radio would also like to express condolences to the first citizen of the region, the chairman of the Miaro Rio Claro Regional Corporation, Mr. Raymond Cozier, on the passing of his stepmother. For those of you who may not know, and that's also the mother of Frank. Frank would have passed away a little while back, a brother from Guayagari too. Good baller also, hard work, and you know his Bob Marley singing. He probably knew every single Bob Marley song there is. So condolences going out to the first citizen, chairman, Mr. Cozier, and this time. And we continue in the program as we look at the front page of the dailies of TNT, and that would be the Newsday, the Express, and the Guardian. So this morning on the front page of today's Newsday, Chief Secretary defends contracts to Trini companies. And that story is on page 11. And you know, the minority leader in the Tobago House of Assembly stated that he would be sending to the Guinness World Record, those who hold that Guinness Book of World Records, in terms of the quickest executed contract in the history of the world, whereby things went out on the 6th, organized on the 7th, and granted on the 8th. All right, so that would be in terms of some road repairs there in Tobago. And of course, the Chief Secretary Petticoat is showing as it relates to stating that fellow Tobagonians probably can't do the job. So you all can't get the contracts there in Tobago. The contracts have to go to a particular place in Trinidad for execution or for granting. So that's that. Also on the front page of today's Newsday, Griffith seeks injunction against FUL report publication. PM ordered to court. Now, that is in connection with the report. So the Prime Minister and several of his ministers are expected to appear before the High Court judge next month as he considers whether to grant an injunction to former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith to prevent the publication of the controversial firearms users license audit report in Parliament. So if you are putting out all those energies as it relates to a matter, then it has to be that there is something in that FUL audit report that the want-to-be commissioner again has some issues with becoming public. So we look forward to see where that goes. What in the dark must come to light, and we hope that that is not stopped, that the people have a right to know, exactly what's taking place. On the front page of today's Guardian, bail bill review. Attorney General acts on promise as crime was mount. Independent senators welcome fresh approach. Gary sues to block TTPS firearm audit from the House of Representatives. Tight security for Tobago Carnival finale. All right? And also, there's a great picture on the front page of today's Guardian, listeners. In too deep, Winston Denarine swims through the high flood waters to rescue his cow at Tulsa Trace in Pinal yesterday. Brother, I feel you in that regard, and I hope that the rescuing of the cow was a success. It doesn't say, but I hope that that was a success. Also, for those in terms of the Lotto Plus, it stands at 2.1 million, the Lotto jackpot for tonight. Remember, if you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance. And also on the front page of today's Guardian, here it is. 22 days left for the second greatest show on earth. The greatest show on earth is Trinidad Carnival. The second greatest show on earth is the World Cup. It is so great that you have to take a rest. So it's every 4 years. And that starts in 22 days. Standards, courts, everybody have sale on television. Flow have a special package. So here's what. Football in 22 days. So pick your team. Share it with us here on Seine Talk. All the Brazilians, all the Germans, all the Englishmen, and of course, the Mbappe fans, for those of us, right. So pick your team, send it in, and you must send it before the 23rd day from today, because after the competition starts, you can no longer pick. And the person who wins the World Cup, we here at Seine Talk and Miara Radio have a special offer for you in terms of that. Now we turn to today's Express. Judge summons 6 ministers. Gary Griffith gets leave to file for FUL judicial review. Trini firms share 100 million THA contract. Sando hospitals flood. Right. And also, on the front page of today's Express, Burna Boy braves the rain. Superstar singer, Grammy Award winning Nigerian Afrobeats artist Burna Boy, real name Demani Ogulu, performed despite heavy showers on Thursday night at Plymouth Recreation Ground, Plymouth, Tobago. And all reports is that he delivered. Despite the rain, the reports are that the singer delivered and the show was a resounding success. And that is, of course, the Tomac Festival, right? And so hats off to the promoters and those who put up such a good thing. And, you know, we like to end the dailies with some good news. And here's this on the back page of today's Express. This Dylan's on fire. TNT Swimmer Cup's 4th consecutive World Cup goal. Dylan Carter maintained his perfect record in the second leg of the FINA Swimming World Cup in Toronto, Canada last night, winning his 4th consecutive gold medal of the competition in the 50-meter freestyle event. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So that takes care of our dailies, and at this time, we're going to take in something here, right? And of course, we know it's Calypso History Month, so everything we do relates to Calypso. And to the Triple Crown winner, we're going to hear it, Calypso.
Bouncing on the laughter of a melody. Well, are you ready for a brand new discovery? Calypso, Calypso, Calypso music. Yeah, yeah. Calypso, Calypso, Calypso music. Singing, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Calypso. Singing, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Calypso. I say that I am the seed of the ground and tiger now. I got to sing, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Calypso. It is a living vibration, rooted deep within my Caribbean belly. Lyrics to make a politician cringe, or turn a woman's body into jelly. Shake it up, shake it up. It is a sweet soca music, Calypso. They could have never refuse it, Calypso. It make you shake like a shango now, Calypso. Why it is you shaking, you don't know, that's Calypso.
Charlatan on every corner. What do you do in a land that runs around like a chicken that's lost its head? What do you do in a time when you can't find the answers to simple questions? When the children choose to do a dance with the darkness, choose to walk with the dead. It's a mighty place, you know I can take you. The rhythm to soothe your soul, and the melody that will never pick you, lead you back to control. We call it the ministry of rhythm. The beautiful place to be, the ministry of sound. You can promise it, and you can hold it down, and you can dangle it. Come on, won't you come along? We're gonna take you to the ministry of rhythm. The beautiful place to be, the ministry of sound. And you can promise it, and you can hold it down, and you can dangle it. Come on, won't you come along? From Somalia to Sarajevo, children with eyes that stare 1,000 miles cry tears of excrement and blood. And in this new world, disorder of savage, selfish men who just leave them to their flies and their gods. It seems like the serum of world leadership has gone way beyond its expiry date. But if you're losing hope, you think you're at the end of your rope. Wait, children, wait. It's a mighty place, you know I can take you. With the rhythm to soothe your soul, and the melody that will never
He's mine.
Saturday the 5th of November at Club Amazon, Eastern Main Road, St. Augustine. Live from Jamaica, King Kong. Saturday the 5th of November, Club Amazon, Eastern Main Road, St. Augustine.
Yes, listeners, welcome back to Seine Talk here this morning. Special morning going out to Kim. Nice for you to be tuned in. Special good morning to you here. And I hope all the plants are going good. I know too much water may not be so good for the plants. So I hope you and your plants are doing well. Great. So, listeners, what's happening in TNT? What's happening in Miaro? What's happening in our region here? All right. Number of things. Good news, and I shared it already, is that things are on foot. Just the date to be announced for the commissioning of the lights at the MRG. And I continue to say that because every listener, every citizen, every resident of this region must continue to defend the MRG, that it will always remain the MRG, right? And nothing or no one must change that. So that lights will be coming on soon. Because of the weather, the ground was supposed to be cut really nicely, but because of the weather, we had that situation. So to put the machinery on the ground, it would cause some negative impact. So waiting for that weather, and also most of the teams at the corporation were now focused on the cemeteries. As you know, All Saints and All Souls are coming up, and that is where that is. So we're looking forward to that happening soon, because remember we told you already here on Seine Talk to tick off on your calendar December 3rd, Saturday, December 3rd. All roads lead to the MRG, and just stay tuned for further information. All roads lead to the MRG on Saturday, the 3rd of December. And good morning to all the PTA members, students, and parents of Ottawa St. Joseph RC Primary School. Pleasant good morning to you. Of course, we know that there will be some further changes because of the main building at the school being deemed unfit for occupancy. So hence there are some restructuring as it relates to in-person teaching at the school currently. So some persons may have 3 days and some persons may have 4 days. But the days that you're off, you have online learning, and things are paced in order to facilitate students without devices and connectivity as it relates to the online learning platform. So please support, communicate, and also pray for us there at the Ottawa St. Joseph RC Primary School and its task ahead. And of course, the school will also be featured on Saturday, the 3rd of December. So keep that in mind. Listeners, all roads lead to the MRG, the Miaro Recreation Ground, Saturday, the 3rd of December. So we want to touch with a brother who is from our community, but now resides, and of course, you know, employment, and that's part of the situation, that a lot of our residents have to traverse sometimes great distances, or even relocate as it relates to earning that dollar, earning that bread in order to facilitate living. So this brother, being part of that community outside, has also found himself in terms of executive member of the Laventille West constituency. And we, because this brother's roots and foundation is here in the city of Miaro, we just want to ask that brother, being an executive member in one of those frontline constituencies, which is the Laventille West constituency, just to get a feel and a take on the current party in power, that is the People's National Movement, in terms of their internal elections and what is happening and what is the feel on the ground there in the north. So I want to introduce my brother, Mr. Nicholas Cliff, a.k.a. Miaro PNM. There's so many names, a.k.a. Mr. Manning, right? So we're going to introduce that brother, and we're going to ask some questions. So we just want to do a little mic check first of all. So good morning to you, Mr. Nicholas.
Pleasant good morning. Pleasant good morning to Miaro. I told you all in my voice from Miaro. Good morning to the movement. So, just to correct when the prophet, I don't reside in Central. Yes, I am an executive member in Laventille.
Wow. So listeners, you hear it? So based originally a Maruga man, roots Mayaro, put some of the other roots Tobago, now Diego Martin, and a member of the Laventille West constituency. So when we get a feedback or a feel of what's happening as it relates to the internal elections in the party, I don't think that there is anybody that can carry all those caps, because you get a national feel, right? A national feel. When I mean from Tobago to Maruga to Mayaro to Diego Martin Central, and of course Laventille West. So good morning to Laventille West. So we just want to hear from you as it relates to the internal election. Basically, what is your take on that whole aspect of the PNM's internal elections?
Well, I was chosen to be
Right.
right. But to add to that, the party we are going through our that's a lot of our membership are excited. We take our cast their vote. Right? We have candidates, right? Very different positions. Four for political leader, we have four for all the positions in the party are up for grabs. Right? And this is going to be the mother of all internal elections within the
Right. So let's address the elephant in the room. Your take as it relates to the position of political leader, and in particular former finance minister Karen Nunez Teixeira, who would have recently won a judgment in court there, and so we know that her campaign is well funded. So what is your take as it relates in terms of where you are and the places that you visit? Diego Martin Central, Laventille West, Mayaro, Maruga, and even Tobago. How in your view, does the candidate for the position of political leader stand as it relates to one or the other?
Well, as Dr. always going I could say congratulations to one political leader. Out a ballot being cast. Because I would have had discussions with because Hoover North would have meet the candidate event. Right? And you some and Dr. Rowley, and again, I'm not pure contradiction, he is going to be.
So as it relates to from former finance minister's camp, some of the questions that were coming out of the camp as somebody directly a part of the election process, the fact that the 9 days of voting and the time frame where there would be no voting as it relates to ballot boxes and stuff. What is your take on that position?
It's not 9 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right, because don't actually one vote system. That was my problem. You have just one person. Dr. Rowley, in his wisdom, will keep my all members of the PNM who are in good financial standing. Present, we are all in good financial standing because the party would have paid our contributions again. Right, so all registered members of the PNM. One day is ending up, you know. Large institution because you know PNM over 50 years. Party in our institution. So large, far and wide. Right? And you know, as I think was it your business and so no trying to get away from that bacchanal. You have come out and cast your vote.
Great. So Mr. Nicholas, in terms of your candidate that you are representing, how is your candidate faring based on who is coming up against her?
Well, in everything you do, you're always optimistic, right? But what camp we have the sense of we feel ready because of police. I'm not in for it, but you know, a lot of persons with we expected that candidate, person that's really their support. One female candidate that's finding persuasive. So we had a social media I just so much because nothing was happening. If the PRO was doing something out there, you know, just to send stuff out there through because she the PRO that Mrs. Laura
Senator? Mm-hmm.
right? Right, she would have been ones to send out posts and everything, you know, to the officer elected. Senator Avina Singh was dormant on his behalf. So social media is a position where you have persons being active. Active, I mean, you know, party, you know, you have, you know, and you send information out there so that persons can, you know, who on Facebook, WhatsApp, you know, all these things. You even have a new social media site, right? But I'm going to speak about it now because we found out about it a couple of days ago and we want to launch it again. Good things when my candidate comes to she has a plan to social media. So electronic university about Foursquare. And you know, PNM, anything you want to hear politics and stuff like that, and you should go to counselor. You pass through with Foursquare, you have some gentlemen sitting in a corner. And if anything from Dr. Williams straight up to Dr. Rowley, you know.
Yes, yes.
So my candidate decided that she wants to win virtually.
Yes. So, right. So now, in closing, I wanted to sum up everything for us as it relates to the internal elections. In closing, in just a couple sentences, sum up this whole internal elections and what is happening.
All right. What is happening basically, viewers, right? In a sense of entertainment, joy, you know, gains because you know it's out there again. It's like a campaigning for a election. So you know, persons are out there. You know you're out there. You don't know what this comes to. You would have done some campaigning. Have done it together too, and you know how to do campaign. I don't stop. Right. So yeah. So the PNM, we are here, and you know, and if I may say to you, so we have a meeting at the I don't know if you're aware of it.
Yes, yes.
Right. So I mean, you know, send out invitation to all our loyal supporters, well wishers, even those of you who are on the fence and wonder where to go. The place to be, people, the political movement to be enrolled in is the People's National Movement. Right. There's no other political movement like the People's National Movement throughout the world. I say I say in the world. As we know we have a mantra, we say great is the PNM. Always prevail. So, you know, come December 4th at our convention, but bigger, better People's National Movement.
Great. So thank you so much, Mr. Nicholas, for taking time out to share with us. And any words to Laventel West constituency at this time?
No, before I go there, I need to send out some
Great.
of mine and some friends. From North Korea, Parliament for this great constituency. The family, you know, extra when I come with it. Yeah, you know, Miss Barry, you know, if I say Miss Barry, I call her leader because she and I, you know, we had that kind of, in our past and now, but Lydia, you're sleeping, you know. We don't want to pass me back there right now. Right? There are a lot of persons who have lost their loved ones, and I mean, so many of you took so many took cold. My constituency, Mayaro, I am here. Laventel West, I am here. Tobago Central, I am here. Tobago East, Tobago West. Good morning to each and every one of you. And yes, Tobago, all of Tobago, real nice. I came from Tobago this morning. Let's see how the counselor, you know. And you know, so have a wonderful weekend all. Right, and happy carnival to Tobago Carnival. Counselor, have a wonderful day and thanks for the opportunity to be here this morning, sir.
Great.
You and your big time DJ, Big Blood, Mr. Buzz. Great job, Meha Radio. Great job. Thank you, Counselor.
Yes. Thank you so very much, Mr. Nicholas. So, listeners, we continue, and of course, one of the things that is hitting us so hard at this point in time is, here's what: the murder count in our beautiful Twin Island Republic stands at 498. And do you know that more than 80% of that 498, no, I am not going down the road of what gang related, known to police. You know the normal thing that comes out when someone gets killed. The victim is known to the police. It's believed to be gang related. I'm not going there. more than 80% of that 498 is firearm-related murders. Recently, as last weekend in Diego Martin, the 4, now a couple was shot in their bed, and when persons responded, they found the baby covered in blood. And you know, at least for those who don't believe that there is a God, let me just explain what happened. These persons were shot in their bed, right? And the baby was together with its parent and covered in blood. And after medical response and family response, and they wiped off that baby, they realized that the child was okay. So you tell me that there is not a God? So, as it relates to that, this, I know I've said it here already, but I must take this opportunity to say it again. Listeners, in our brother higher up the Caribbean, there's a country called Jamaica. And you know, we copy a lot of things from Jamaica. We love their music. Oh my gosh. The greatest entertainer of the Caribbean is Robert Nesta Marley. You know what they did in Jamaica? They increased the penalties as it relates to guns and illegal firearms, being in possession of illegal firearms. And you know what? Guess what? You know that the entire parliament, listen, listeners, the entire parliament, meaning opposition and government, through their full support on the legislation, through their full support, it had nothing about party politics. Nothing about party politics. But you know what's on the front page of today's Guardian in Trinidad and Tobago? Bail bill review, Attorney General, right, on promise as crime wars mount. So, in Jamaica, they could put aside the colors and get together as it relates to crime. Because, listeners, crime is everybody's business. And you know what happened in Miaris a couple weeks ago? If a man wanted or was even thinking of leaving Port of Spain to come up Miaris to commit a robbery, after what took place in Beaumont Road, yes, right by by BP Resource Center there, and they saw where 4 men, not a single one of them from our region or community, on a home invasion, was snuffed out. And of course, you know the report that went as if known to the police. Right? These gentlemen were known to the police. Right? I don't know where that investigation reached because it's alleged that there were 7. The only sad thing about that, how did they find this place in Miaro? So I hope in the police investigation, if there's anybody from our community who was part of that team or to tip them off, I hope the wrath of the Creator falls fully on them. All right? So, crime is everybody's business. Crime is not yellow or red. So we as citizens also have to dig deep and realize and tell those who are given the power by us, the people, that, hey, you see this one, you see crime, here what's going on. The police are asking for legislation in order to effect their work. We need to help them out and remove those things that it relates to crime that we are stating that here's what. You know, I'm going to ask my DJ to see if he could find Stalin's Sufferer. You see that song? That is a big one. You see, sufferer by the Black Stallion, because really and truly, you see that $100 million contract for contractors from Trinidad and Tobago. The average man in Tobago, we may term as sufferer, he ain't really beaten up on that, you know. Because all he concerned is here happening. When I look in my cooking oil bottle, it on the last, I ain't have enough to fry egg. And I look in the cupboard and I look in the basket, nothing. So what his mind on is here what going on. What am I eating for lunch today or for dinner tonight? How I'm providing for my children. So he really had no time on Chief Secretary and pledging his hearts to contractors from Central Trinidad. That had too much on his mind. But here what's happening. We as a people jump out and protest when a murder took place, you know. And all of a sudden, well, oh my gosh, the world is bad, and it's a crowd and vigil and walking and comments from all quarters. Where was any one of these persons after the incident at Africa Ground in Enterprise? When the youngster was gunned down, where was the vigil? Where was the comments? Where was the situation? Diego Martin, where was the vigil? Where was the comment? Where was the candlelight? Where was walking in front of the Red House on the wall? What happened to that? Is it that applies only for certain persons? Is it because the child was not old enough to go to UE and graduated first class honors? We don't know if that would have happened. So there were no vigil for the youngster in Africa Ground playing sports on a ground provided for that purpose. So it was fit for purpose. The person stole a van, pull up shots. Where was the vigil? Where was the protest? But we remember, island-wide, even Tobago, you went and vigil all by, yeah. So we have to understand that all lives matter, all right, and not some. And in Trinidad and Tobago, we must not be wrapped up or get caught up, especially when person's view of things is either through a yellow lens or a red lens. But we must view things through the lens of truth and equality, empathy, and you know my favorite, justice. So let me touch a little song and come back, and let me talk a little more about the city of Mayaro. So I'll touch the DJ at this point in time and come back, and let's talk a little more about the city of Mayaro.
Yeah.
Collins, the good one.
Judgment morning, I'm at the gate and I'm waiting, because I'm begging the master, give me a walk with Peter. If I come sinners coming, with them I go be dealing, because the things that they do me, I want to fix them personally. Peter wait, Peter look Cecil Rhodes by the gate. Peter look the Englishman, we send Cecil Rhodes to Africa land. Peter take trip, take rally, but leave Victoria for me. Peter I just don't care what you say, but Mussolini he can't get away. Why?
This is my time for money.
From these madman and woman, I feel the full weight of the hand. Them they oppress law, they never care about the poor. Peter, these people had a day. Well, now it's time for Stalin to play. Peter wait, I say Peter wait. Peter look Ian Smith by the gate. Peter, I don't want you to make fuss. Remember, I want Christopher Columbus. Peter look the English woman who in South Africa refused to put sanctions. Peter, I just don't care what you do, but Reagan going in the fire too. Why?
This is my time for money.
Blazing.
This is your time for money.
Running. Take me now. Peter, don't grudge me. Your hand done full already. You don't deal with the Führer. Go ahead and take Foster. But that woman Mary, remember that's my baby. So much confusion that she make. You got to give Black Stalin a break. Peter wait, I say Peter wait. Peter look voter reach by the gate. Reporter, I don't want you to waste time. Remember we still have Morgan behind. Peter look the English woman who send foreign troops in Africa land. Peter, I just don't care what you say. The Ku Klux Klan man can't get away. Why? Blazing. Text me. One damn boy. Come in. Peter, stop pushing. It have plenty more coming. They call them from overseas, but leave my low-key. To raise a lifetime, to me they were so unkind. So much corruption that they make. Now it is time they must feed me with. Peter, don't hold me back. Look, the one we drop the public order. Peter, look, catch that big belly fella. We carry my money down Panama. Peter, look, the woman who bring foreign troops in the Caribbean. Peter, I just don't care what you do, but ball head going in the fire too.
best friend. Empire Illinois. He's mine.
Saturday the 5th of November at Club Amazon, Eastern Main Road, St. Augustine. Live from Jamaica, King Kong. Saturday the 5th of November, Club Amazon, Eastern Main Road, St. Augustine.
Yes, guys, we're back here from the city of Miaro live this morning, and of course, a very good morning to the 5 boroughs in America. Of course, you know that's those 5 boroughs: Long Island, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, right, and also to the whole tri-state area, right. We know we have a lot of listeners out there. Good morning to you, and I hope that up and down weather that you're having, hope that comes to pass, because it will only get colder. Right? Hey, and hats off to listeners in terms of the New York Knickerbockers. You know, now when everybody Knicks, some of the young guys didn't even know that the name is Knickerbockers. So Knicks actually getting on this season. Brooklyn, you all not looking so good currently. Right? You know, we 2 of the top 10 players in the league, Kyrie and Durant. Just imagine that the Knicks is looking better than the Brooklyn Nets currently. So it's an 82-game season, so it's still young. My team, I'll take my licks openly on radio, is 4-0. Yes, the Lakers. Oh my gosh, I know. Probably have to have a chat with management as it relates to the team at this time. All right. Oh my gosh. AD, I don't know. Injury prone, sat out the last game. All right. But I think we'll get it together. Not panicking yet. Not panicking as yet. However, all right. Hey, hats off to Knicks. Come on, Lakers, let's get it together. So let's come back home a little bit. All right. Things are afoot for the commissioning of the lights. All right, they were there this week earlier, making sure that everything is up to par. So we should be hearing very soon the actual date of commissioning, and of course the handing over as it relates to the lights. So it's under public lighting and stuff. So it's not the Miaro Rio Claro Regional Corporation paying the bill for the lights. All right. Again, you know, one must give hats up to all those who would have contributed to that happening. All right. So we look forward to that. And then come the 3rd of December, we know all roads lead to the MRG for a whole afternoon of spectacular entertainment. So we look forward to that. All right. And also is the fact that within our whole region, all right, which, you know, would have been impacted by this adverse weather, and, you know, we must compliment on some of the initiative taken as it relates to no school on Friday gone, based on the alert threat levels, and, of course, the school closing situation was because of the rivers across our island, which was at capacity, and the potential for flooding was, really high, and the initiative was taken for the safety and welfare of not just students, but also staff members. So that was in the interest of all as it relates to school closing there on Friday. So we look forward to school opening back on Monday, and of course, based on the hiccups that is happening, we know we got some information as it relates to transport. So we're looking forward for good things come January, and also all those who could add some value or even just a simple word of prayer as it relates to the Otway St. Joseph RC Primary School in terms of us reaching out to our students there and assisting as it relates to what they are going through at this time. The information going up the line, up the chain of command as it relates to that is on foot, and as it relates to the devices for the students so that they can continue to do online learning on the days that they are off. We hope that is sorted out soon. Anyone listening who could add even further assistance, please feel free to contact any member of the PTA or even the staff at the school. So, listeners, within the community also, there is that situation of indiscriminate dumping of refuge. All right? You know, last week we spoke of the Edric Connor Park, and as the person who sent in the information was asking, all you may need, or stating in fact, all you may need to go to the Edric Connor Park, maybe a couple of dogs and a gun, because just now men could hunt in the park based on the height of the bush at the Edric Connor Park. And of course, we know that that is one of our most famous citizens from our community in terms of nationally and internationally of his impact in England and what he would have done. And to have a park named after him and continue to be in that situation. So we know that that will be addressed in the shortest possible time. And in terms of getting back some of the things in there so that it will be a space where persons or residents of our community would feel proud to take their youngsters to, and we hope that that is really worked out. All support as it relates to that. Listeners, there was a cancellation of the school bazaars today, which was carded for today at the Rio Claro West Secondary and also at the Beach High School, which both would have had their October affair to be held at the school, their bazaars, and due to the inclement weather and the weather alert system that was around with us for the entire week, those events were cancelled, a date to be announced, and also we can look forward to the Guayagari High School, or Guayagari Secondary School in fact, is having their bazaar come December 3rd. So on December 3rd, there will be two main activities within our community, within our region, would be the Guayagari Secondary Schools Bazaar, and also a day of fun at the MRG Mayaro in terms, so just keep your eyes tuned. So you're going by Guayagari Secondary, hang out there, make sure you play or participate in every stall, and at the close of that event, you're coming to the MRG to complete your day. All right, so that's the plan. All right, so that's the plan. So just put those ticks on your calendar. Hey, I'm going to Guayagari High School early. All right, I'll be there before 1 o'clock because I have to participate in every stall at the Guayagari High School. Now, collect those things, drop that home, and then proceed to the MRG for an evening of entertainment, and entertainment for every age, every likes and dislikes. We'll have something for everyone on that day. Looking forward to that, and we're looking forward to your support at the MRG on the 3rd of December. All right? If you love football, have that. If you love live band music, have that. If you love giant bouncy castles and slides, have that. If you love a chip bake, it have that. If you love chip pale out, it have that. All right? The dirt oven on site has not been confirmed. However, I can share with you it's an intent. All right? I think I said intent is 9/10 of the law. So it's an intent at this time. So we're not sure because I'm having some difficulty in getting that together. But the dirt oven is expected to be there. However, that would go as it release. And you know, the chip chip pala and the chip chip bake, when we open up our online bookings as it relates to that, that is where that would be. And it's called the broth of your life. The broth of life will also be there on the 3rd. Now, there will be some roast fish with a difference. It is called the Miaro Boys Sports Club roast fish, because these roast fish will have some color and will have some additives as it relates to plantain, moko, and green fig. All right. So anyway, you will get more details coming down, and of course, all we want you to do at this time is to put that big tick on the 3rd of December 2022. All roads lead to the MRG. Now, feel free to come on board. Feel free to even share ideas. Feel free to get in contact with any member of Miaro Boys Sports Club towards this event on the 3rd of December. All right, so thank you for that. Now, coming up, 1st and 2nd, All Saints and All Souls. All right. Now, here's what. Don't wait till last minute. Don't wait till last minute to go and clean the grave. We getting some sun today, expected to get a little sun tomorrow. Here's what's happening. Start the process tomorrow. Put yourself in a gear. Right? The flowers, wherever you're going and plant, mold up the grave a little bit and that kind of thing. Here we're going on. And we work on that this weekend. Let you don't wait until the morning of the 1st. Rain going and fall. You didn't get a chance to clean. And all right. So here what's happening. Organize. You know the wind is a serious factor now at the Radic Cemetery, at the Lassavan Cemetery, at the Hyman Cemetery on the hill there. So here what's going on. If you're going to light, a good use of plastic bottles. Some of you buy the Styrotex cup. You need to buy the big ones because you know the candles as it goes down gets into contact and burns the cup. And you know that is something that is not environmentally friendly, styrofoam. So plan your thing from now. Plan your stuff from now so that could go down accordingly. So yes, special good morning again goes out to the Miaro Police Station, the Miaro Fire Station, and of course to the Miaro District Health Facility and all those on duty at this point in time. Good morning to you, and of course we thank you for keeping our region and community and the city of Miaro safe at this point in time. Yes, the influenza shots has been rolled out from Monday, and of course Miaro is one of the sites that you can get that, and they continue to facilitate as it relates to COVID-19 and stuff at all the health facilities across our region. So good morning to the full ERHA team and for your partnering with us here at Miaro Radio on what's happening and what there is. All right, so you know that there will be a number of consultations going on. I think they were at Brothers Road and at Sangre Grande at the Civic Center. I think it's on the 3rd, on Thursday coming. So hats off to the ERHA team and the fact that, they are continuously raising the bar in terms of providing service to the residents of the region. So to Mr. Soifat and his executive management team, we say hats off to you. All right. So, listeners, we need to lend some support to our students at our 2 secondary schools. The Guayari Secondary School and the Miaro Secondary School, formerly Guaya High, formerly Miaro Composite. I would have mentioned in one of the shows before some of the incidents that would have been happening and information coming at hand in terms of the number of issues at the schools and suspensions and those kinds of things. And the good news is that the Ministry of Education, in their own wisdom, would have realized that suspension is not having the impact intended. All right. So they have to look at other interventions as it relates to school violence and stuff. But those are issues best sorted out by the support and intervention of parents. I know I would have shared with listeners prior that the only difference between what we term, inverted commas, a prestige school and a normal government secondary school, the only difference is parents' participation. That's the only difference. Parents' participation. And when parents, because if you call a PTA meeting at these schools, those who attend, of course, mostly mothers, because I don't know, all right, mostly mothers attend PTA meeting. And then a school that has more than 200 students, and you see 11 parents attending. All right, I shared with you, I went to a PTA meeting at Naparima Girls College, well, a few years back, a number of years back. And at that school, I got there probably about half an hour before the carded start time of the PTA meeting. And the school principal and vice principal had to call a contractor to bring chairs for persons attending the PTA meeting because the entire hall was filled. There were so many people standing that they had to order an additional 150 chairs. Listen again, let me say that again. Despite the chairs that were out, they had to acquire an additional 150 chairs just to seat attendees at the PTA meeting. You may put out 20 chairs at a PTA meeting at our schools, and some will never be used. And that's the difference, because some persons like to state corporate intervention and, the business sector intervention to the schools. But that can only come after the parents. And we are so fortunate in this part of the islands that we have some big players who have shown interest and have given back as it relates to the schools in our area. So let's get more intervention. And let me tell you this, as an adult in this community, you do not have to have a child at the school to be part of the PTA. Let me repeat. You do not have to be a parent of a student to be part of the PTA at our schools in our region. Right? So, funny how time flies on this program these days. The 2 hours pass like that. But we must thank the Member of Parliament for coming on this morning and sharing that information with us. And because you see, it's important because each person have particular rules. And I'm so happy that, every time you reach out to the MP, he facilitates and he's always reachable, and that is excellent. So what we're going to do next week, I'm going to have a conversation with the first citizen of the region, the chairman of the Rio Claro Regional Corporation, and ask him if he can come on and share with us, what's happening at the level of the Rio Claro Regional Corporation, and some of the challenges and what the good things that we can look forward to, and coming in terms of the Yuletide season. I can share with you is that recently some contracts have been extended, and persons who would have been in the system at the corporation in the capacity as litter wardens, I think it was 5 of them, who would have gotten an extension as it relates to litter wardens because of that whole impact of indiscriminate dumping across our region here. That is serious. And of course, we look forward to the plans for the relocation of that bin in front of the Edric Connor Park, that little eyesore that you get every time you come into the town. And so we're looking forward to some good things, and so that those little awards and stuff, so that some kind of action would happen as it relates to the combination of our little wardens and the municipal police in terms of is this indiscriminate dumping across our region, that we'd have some impact, and probably persons will be brought before the court to answer for their actions as it relates to same. So we want to thank all those who are on board. Mr. Nicholas Cliff giving us a little perspective on the internal campaign of the great institution from 1954 to today, and what is happening. And we wish him all the best in his endeavors as a campaign manager for one of the person contesting the position of social welfare officer. No, not social welfare, social media officer within the executive. So we look forward to that upcoming. And, of course, I must remind you, December 3rd. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. It's bright and sunny. Remember, do not put off that trip to the cemetery in these 2 dry days that we're looking forward to coming here now. Put in that time, organize. Have a great day, and we look forward to all that. And we bless all, in particular, that situation with Mrs. Joseph, the entire family, Mr. Charles, our brother Edison, and all of those involved and impacted with that situation. As we say, we pray for you, and we hope that that comes to a good closure very, very soon. We look forward to that. So bless all, and have a great, great day. This is Seine Talk out for the 29th of October 2022. And of course, do not switch off. Coming up soon, we have a special delivery coming from Special Delivery. So, Miara Radio continues to entertain and bring good music after this program. So thank you, and see you next week, Saturday. Have a great day.
This is a call for the people of TNT.